Hello everyone, welcome to our stream. I'm still booting up. Our game is about to start, so it will be another tournament game and of round 2. And in particular, the first tournament game of my esteemed colleague and friend Fluffybunny going against Becked today. So Becked opted for an ultra-wide continent, so that will, well, hopefully leaving some room to expand and maybe delay the early aggression Fluffy is well known for. Let me check my audio setup. We don't have music yet, but that's because our players have not teched drama yet. We can already see, but they don't. There is a single tribe on the map, the Scythians, with quite a few sites, including one of the center ones, a few barbarians. Their free site is quite a ways away forward on the northern coast, but the northern coast will be closed to further expansion and naval shenanigans, so that's going to be interesting to see. There is a large bay cutting them off from the first tribe camp. They can see, they can attack, but there is some distance. Let me wish good luck and have fun to both our player. And we'll see how that develops. So that's an unusual start. From the resources we can see around the start, this calls for hunters for sure. Assyria went for Becked went for Assyria and is moving forward with his slinger. Picked hunter for his start as well, was somewhat expected, and for schemer and an intelligent schemer on that. So scout forward, improving his first camp, and Slinger picked up steadfast promotion for quick camp clearing. Fluffy has opted to react to his opponent pick, so we'll see what he opts for. I know he's a fan from Assyria, probably a bit disappointed not to have it around. We'll see what he goes for. The nations with hunters are Persia, Assyria, already picked, Babylonia, Kush, and I'm probably missing one. Alright, can't remember at the moment. So we are looking for a pick between Persia, Kush, and alright, I'm forgetting one every time I mention it, so we'll see what he opts for. Welcome to the stream, Mocho. Welcome to the stream, Andros. Well, it's quite a map indeed, so they will have to walk very far away to find their first camp. They will find another one actually around, and their free spot is up north, and the northern pass is blocked for ships or naval movement. So Fluffy went for Kush. Hunters, as expected, with the 3-game start and a fourth one a bit further away, and he's opted for an intelligent builder. He's going forward with his slinger, hasn't assigned a general yet. There's an option for a commander, which could be decent, or he might be looking at assigning his leader as a governor and maybe starting his first camp. We saw that he's facing a skimmer for Assyria, so quite the combo, intelligent as well, able to buy orders with legitimacy, of course. So we'll see what use Becked makes of that. He appointed his leader as a governor for an immediate science benefit. He's generating 21 research a turn. While Fluffy is for now at 13 without the wisdom. He's appointed his leader as a governor on the first turn, and that will look to upgrade to improve his first camp and resources imminently, I expect. So scout first, very important. It's hard to overemphasize the importance of scouting in multiplayer in particular. Yeah, he's moving forward with his appointed commander as a general. So that was the pick he had laying around beyond his leader, his founder initially. Scouts are already a bit further forward for Becked. Our players are playing on Simultaneous, so they will be progressing quickly, I expect, at least early on in the game, and they have agreed to switch the turnstile whenever aggression starts. So conflict between them. Scout sniping is considered okay. I don't know how relevant that will be. There are plenty of forests around to hide scouts for Fluffy, and of course, Beckett with a skimmer on the throne doesn't have to worry too much about that. Only Scythians as tribes on the map, and a few barbarians. So they will find out about that. So that's maybe a minor disappointment for Beckett because his skimmer will get additional orders for wars. So as soon the sooner he can declare war and the more he can declare war, the more orders he will gain. And we'll see if he goes for the immediate aggression from the forest. Yeah, doesn't protect very much from the melee unit, but still valuable. First settler is out. Already got pillaged. I assume an event. Yes, indeed. Oh, and he's getting a tribal raid on turn 5. So, well, he might get a tribal raid on turn 5 for his trouble. Meeting the Scythian, so he declared war, as is somewhat expected from a skimmer leader. Fluffy is dealing with his barbarians a bit less efficiently. He didn't have the opportunity to pick steadfast from the start. His settler is moving forward as well. We'll see. Well, I assume he will settle the spot to be able to heal his slinger and consolidate his position. And that will happen next turn, presumably. The free site will still be free after that, so it's typically a lesser priority. He's diligently improving his camps. He's slightly ahead of Becked on that front. Becked is going for barracks directly, and of course his camp has been pillaged, and he doesn't want to cancel the barracks, so he's not benefiting from the growth and the accelerated production of a settler there. To compare, Fluffy's second settler is only 2 turns out, and his food and growth production in Meroe is already ramping up quite nicely with enter camps, of course. He founded Artisan in the center, so there's a nice mine opportunity. Alright, we have contact, not symmetrically, but we do have contact. And he's going for a quarry first. I assume wanting to a stonecutter there to gain access to grain for some growth. Alright, a few seconds left. Our players are on medium turn timer. Alright, this worker is done. Even more growth. He's going military drill first, so he will be able to follow in the footsteps of Beckett with his creation. So he's markedly behind in research at the moment. Of course, the skimmer of their wisdom is more impactful. They both picked intelligent and competitive mode, and modest is provides a significant boost compared to the great without competitive mode. But still, it's 15 research on Kush side to 23 on Assyria's side, and he's moving very aggressively back toward the center already. So they both settled their barbarian camp, the first one, and yeah, he's positioning for very early aggression as soon as he can. And his unit is a lot less hurt at the moment, in much better health than Fluffy's. But Fluffy is in his own city, and he will benefit from Sentinel in his spot, contrary to his opponent, of course, because this is his territory after all. And Sentinel is very decidedly a defensive perk. He's going for a shrine to boost his military protection and acquire the last of the games around his city center. He's opting for the stone boost, which might pay for some additional shrines, which, well, Kush has an excellent selection of shrines, among the best in the game. He also has military drill and of course starts with trapping and the possibility to make slingers. So an additional military units will be available quite early on. He has an option to marry. Let's see what Becked is doing. So consolidating his advanced units. I'm not sure what he attacked. Killed the Scythian nomad, so a stray Scythian that had come his way. He's almost done with his second settler, repaired his camp, and he's going for mine first, interestingly, before improving the other camps. So he will have decent military protection with his barrack and being a military family, but there's also the minus training from being a settler, schemer assigned to the city, so it's still 6 turn warriors and 6 turns slingers if he wants to go that way. He has both options open, which might become relevant as there's quite a bit of forest on the map, so warriors will provide an important advantage when fighting in forests against opposing troops. I assume trader from Fluffy, but I do not know. Although he's missing on the pearls if he settles where he went first. Or maybe he wants to go landowner or something else. Yes, landowner. A bit unexpected, but well, for me anyway. But okay, let's see if he can do something with that. I don't find the spot very enticing. First barracks forward for Fluffy. Is going for a slinger in his artisan city as well, and another slinger in his capital, working on his barracks and his shrine still. And his opponent still on a mine. I don't really agree with that. Get your growth first, I would say. But a warrior out of Quatna is sure to be relevant, and that will be a second one. The first one was completed, so there's already a little bit of a power spike for Assyria. Barbarians are accumulating slowly. Yeah. Well, of course they haven't seen. Well, they hadn't seen yet, at any rate, these crazy trader spots. So maybe this one wasn't so appealing, although I would justify at least a trader seat with just one fish and one pearls myself. Quick walkers, of course, from Fluffy, with a builder on the throne. Second slinger is going to emerge. First one is healed. He probably doesn't want to move forward too quickly. I don't think he's seen any of that, but his scout is not too far away. So he might have an ID. Well, he's spotted the terrain on the borders of Assyria, but he's not keeping eyes on the situation in the center at the moment. Alright, so Assyria, no stone cutting yet. Let's see if he goes for it. It might be crucial, especially to produce slingers. The stone boost is an important infusion of stone to produce slingers, but he wants warriors, it seems, and is neglecting pushing growth in his capital. So mines and mine. Hello, welcome to stream, Sinomome. Is this the first extra wide map of the tournament? I don't know, but I assume not. I've not been keeping tabs on the exact settings agreed every time. Oh, free axemen on Assyria. So this is scary already. And Fluffy is redirecting his military a little bit back, presumably to go clear this spot first. And it would be dangerous to go for the Scythian spot. So I'm slightly surprised Fluffy is not just buying urban tiles up to here so that he could cross directly with here and acquire the ore tile in his capital as well. Maybe he's forgot that he has a builder and can do that. Second slinger produced, however. He has all four of his camps, which will be a major difference in growth production in his capital. Compared to his opponent, he will be able to get workers double quick. Of course, he's a builder on top, and settlers as well, if and when he wants them. Alright, another slinger in production. He's moving against the northern spot indeed. Probably feeling a little bit of regret for going landowner instead of traders. I don't know. I don't know what he would think about that, but I'm not sure the little money here would be worth it, or even buying the tiles. Citizens, maybe. Um, Alright. So center spot, champion. So enter champion, all out military in his picks. For Becked, he's already gone to steel. So on top of the free axeman he got from an event, the mercenary axeman from the square borders, he already has a proper one that he produced. Half cost fisherman is nice at least, yeah, but I'd value double output fisherman more than half cost. Uh, but yes, but I mean fisherman really. You get the output of a net with a fisherman without the fisherman with traders. That's my perspective on that. But I will not pretend that I'm fully accurate in my judgment there. And yeah, with that terrain, even the surveyor trait on traders walker might prove relevant to be able to road quickly toward the front line. He's connected nicely. Alright, so he's picking up on it. He got first urban tile. He needs another one to be able to cross toward the Scythian. And of course, additional growth once more, additional food with access to the barley tile. He stuck a pair of barracks in his front city, Capada. A treasury? Okay. So, alright, reluctant to buy stone or to make slingers apparently, or to spend stone. He signed peace with the Scythian, so he's getting truce with the Scythian, so he's getting fewer orders out of that. And it's all-out military in the front and sort of strange priorities in the back. Mine. He really wants a lot of warriors. And Axeman is rushing axes clearly, but even at the cost of growth on food is what surprises me. He has a nicely positioned central scout. Fluffy is keeping tabs on his opponent's positioning. And yeah, despite moving forward with everything, he sort of has to go back to deal with wandering barbarians and eventually raiders, most probably. Fluffy is focusing on slingers as a new pair. He doesn't quite have the orders to use them fully at the moment. So the turn timer alert is earlier these days, so that's what we are hearing and facing. All right, so there we go. They are in territory. This is a great spot. Maybe that's that's the spot that made him pick landowners. There's a good bit of barley and additional nice marble around. But it would be a decent hunter spot with a source of elephants as well. So yeah, yeah, I'm not sure what went into that decision precisely. All right, he's sending a settler from Gebel Dosha, I think, towards this spot, about to clear it. Keeping tabs on his opponent, who looks similar and learned at the moment. So we are already seeing Assyria pull ahead a little bit in research just on the back of their governor and founder wisdom. And yeah, landowner is a fine family indeed. I didn't mean to imply by any means that they aren't. All right. So he's getting very decent military production already with two military city, uh, uh, sort of basic military spot here in the center, but benefiting from the early defensibility from being a champion spot. And his seat, of course, is having a pretty good production already, without a barrack, without an officer or a mine, which is of course the perk of champions. Having plus 50% training, even in a single city, is quite powerful. Second landowner spot here in the north. This would have been a beautiful patron spot. But they don't have patrons, they have access to tradesmen. Yeah, and that's the last one. So improving the ore mine first. Maybe he might even mine all the spots. Well, that's not something Fluffy usually does, so I assume not. But it's not entirely out of reach if he goes for a navigation stint at one point, but he's prioritizing still to be able to follow his opponent in the arms race at the moment. So this is a very helpful pointer. Some people are reluctant to take steel. Steel is good. Steel is important tech. You cannot really complain about spearmen and what they do if you never get axes. So uh, so interesting to note here. Comparing to his opponent, he hasn't gone for a single ore mine yet. Um, th there are opportunities in his capital, even keeping the mountainside hills for quarries. And yeah, he's concentrating his forces back. His opponent is going after the spot, but a bit later we are seeing 4 cities for Kush and only 3 on Assyria. And he's gaining a little bit more discontent for having founded 2 spots from the same family. Still in simultaneous turns for the moment. Fluffy's taking his time. He's considering declaration of the Scythians, maybe. One more slinger. Apprentice officers are in the work toward the front. Events. State religion, interesting. We'll see if he does anything with that. Maybe just want the Iran in the military seat. For Fluffy, you mean? Yes, probably. Yeah, yeah. I get that, but it's already in the military seat at the moment, so I don't really know. For his opponent, it's not that clear. Without builders, it's going to take a long time to get here. Um, and there's iron here, I suppose. That could be targeted by either player, but they're not making very concrete steps in that direction yet. Sorry, I need to mute for a sec. I need some hydration. Alright. Fluffy is going straight for the barbarian spot at first. He already has additional units that he can bring toward the Scythians or this new expansion he's working on. Um, Or he could marry a Scythian. Might be interesting. Minus legitimacy, but in his opinion, that wouldn't bring them to please though. So it's not so clear that it would be greatly valuable. He could get strict and get his slingers with plus 100 XP or writers prosperous bloodthirsty. I believe strict would be the default pick there. He's worked on a second scout. At least I believe he did. Yes, that is the second one with the growth from the city, having all his camps. It was a 3 turns affair. Typically worth it. You want to keep an eye on your opponent, but you still want to be able to explore around your territory, potentially harvest a few resources, etc. So it's good to have several scouts. Assyria, by contrast, or I believe by contrast, only has a single scout. Of course, he has more flexibility in the way he uses it because he's a skimmer, so his scout is perpetually hidden. Okay, no steps taken to acquire in his territory the fourth game, and in fact he's been quite contemptuous of the two other game resources in the north of Nineveh. He made no less than 2 barracks, 5 mines, 6 mines before going for them. I can't say I really agree with that, so he's lagging behind in settling, despite having quite the capacity to clear. His whole army is bunched up, ready for an assault, but he's stopped his expansion. Beyond this spot he just cleared, he already had one free at between his capital and the middle line. So we'll see if he decides to pull the trigger against this Bayern spot or potentially even the Scythians, but not yet at any rate. Alright, so workers are working, getting pearls. Fluffy is markedly richer, of course, benefit of his the discipline on his leader, and is getting ready to attack the Scythians, I believe, assigning generals. Let's check his family. So the prince is only 2 years old. He's 45 himself, so sword of the gods. And he opted for bloodthirsty, so he's still assigned as a governor for now. The science is precious, as well as the bonus growth. He's going for a miner, and on the ore, of course, for additional training. Before even going for his barracks, so that's interesting. But he wants the iron. He hasn't been working very diligently on mines. He has one in his capital, and no others. Barracks, pearl nets for money and culture in Amadab. A pair of barracks on the front line, quickly down, of course, in the artisan's seat. and moving his fifth settler to found his fifth city as we speak. So he's been a lot more diligent on that and following up with settlers to power his expansion. I'm slightly surprised that he's producing his next settler from the center rather than from Meroe. But I suppose one will be necessary for this spot once he starts attacking the Scythian. He's waiting to free up his other units to have everything on hand immediately, I assume. You can tell that Becked is or was wary of getting rushed like he was in the game against Anarchos. Well, possibly, yeah. Fluffy has a reputation, uh, but rush is not the only tool in his toolbox. He didn't go tactician, he didn't go zealot, he didn't go schemer. So actually, he's comfortably picking intelligent builder, a longer term economic focus. So so we are not seeing a rush at the moment, and it doesn't look like we are going to see one quickly at any rate. Um, Would take some effort to reach or in the center. Could a bit more comfortably walk. I think I would value the spot the most forward, just to go around the volcano if naval movement is ever going to become a thing. That's going to be capital, although there's a long distance between these spots. Right, he's completed his miner. Yeah, he could just destroy those Scythians if he wished to do so. And I assume this is the turn he will pull the trigger. Unless he has to spend orders on his events. Yeah, you would want to pick that before, of course. An ambition to kill 10 units, which is a cause for celebration in Kushite lands. Quite a good ambition. I'm impressed by the speed of play of Beckett. Maybe worse, considering spending a little bit more time. Although his decisions are well correct, or well, I think it's not correct to ignore the camps for so long. But I'm sure it's deliberate. It's not something he did because he didn't have the time to consider properly. So. Is Zoro funded yet? No, I don't think so. But funding Zoro is still quite a detour. You need to get the acolytes. You need to get additional temples and all that. If he's not going for religious play right now, he can be decently confident that he might have access to Judaism later or other plays to do things with religions. Alright, second shrine going up in Meroe, and he's opting for an officer. He's getting raided by Scythians, so we'll see if he decides to deal with them before attacking the camp. Might be reasonable. And he's opting for navigation, so extra orders from serfdom, maybe colonies if he decides to make a play with that, but I would be, knowing Fluffy, I'd be a bit surprised. And at any rate, the ability to make biremes might play a strong role on this map. So we'll check that. A bireme positioned here would go around the full peninsula, give very quick access to this spot, and it might be well worth training a few to just get access on the map. He has a builder, so he can extend any urban colonization along coastline very quickly, very efficiently with build urban. He's been doing a bit of that here. He could push it forward from this shrine after he's done with it. So and yeah, he might mine all the spot actually. That's not something I'm used to thinking of with Fluffy. but he's going to make progress in that direction with this shrine as well as with the ore miner he's already got. Becked seemingly missing a chance for an early attack on Kush with his early axes. Yeah, maybe he could go in and try to do some damage, but it's slow movement in this region, so it would be seen. It would be hard to have a pack of units, and there's still Sentinel on the other side, well assigned chain rolls, so he would be facing plus 20% units, which is almost equivalent to a strength 5. Um, so yeah, it's not so sure. He could apply pressure. Would it make uh, big? Would he get big gains? It's not so clear. He's no level that stronger, but I'm fairly sure it's his first turn that is the case. So at any rate, the game will have told him that he doesn't have that much of an advantage yet until now. And he can see that his opponent has 5 cities to his 4, so he's settled this spot now, just this turn, I believe, or the turn before. There's no progress on the walker, so yeah, just this turn. He became affable, so that's some bonus growth in his cities. He's struggling a bit for walkers at the moment. He's getting harassed in his capital, and as his full forces are packed on the front line, it's not that easy to defend. So he's getting damaged a bit, including losing one of his officers. And Fluffy will soon have, well, has caught up to steal, so he can make Axeman himself, even if he doesn't have the much iron in the bank. And yeah, I'm pretty sure right after dealing with the raiders, he will deal with the camp itself and be quite safe from this spot. Be able to deal with every source of raids in his backline while his opponent is waiting. Becked has full information about everything. He has a scout forward. He's maybe not seeing the bulk of Fluffy's army, but he knows they were positioned here, that they went toward his backline. But Fluffy is going to have much better logistics with the coastal sprawl that we are seeing, and yeah, you could build urban, and keep working on that. I believe the priority is on clearing the Scythians. You want to do that very efficiently. He's got his Shrine of Melul, some quarries. But yeah, you can see he's moving his military units first. Well, his scouts first, actually, then his military units, then everything else. So he's keeping an eye on the Scythians, keeping an eye on his opponent. As soon as he'll be done with the tribes, he will be able to get better vision on his opponent. One second, a question from one of our players. All right. We are concerned that the stream might not be up. I'm pretty confident it's up since I'm chatting with you. Can we get a skimmer order by check? Yes, I do not believe he's bought many orders. Let me see. Oh, actually 6 times. So sorry about that. Yeah, so 60 orders have been bought. He's facing quite some raids in his capital at the moment. Had to retreat his walker. He's trying to deal with it with a single axeman, which is a strong unit, but there's still many others, so that will delay him at minimum. He bought orders, I believe, this turn again. Yeah, I'm not sure, but he has 23 seconds to spend them. He's probably afraid of leaving his front line with additional units, but dealing with this barbarian site and the Scythians and the raids will take a bit more than that. And actually he's starting to face, let me check, yeah, some opinion issues from his hunter family. They are led by a judge while he is a skimmer. The oligarch is disappointed as well. There are fewer cities, etc., etc. So yeah, it's not too great. He's getting rebels on top of raids. And I think he's been wasting some orders on the previous turn. And yeah, I can only assume that he's a bit worried about moving any units away from his front. But trying to deal with that with a single unit is doable, but it's terribly inefficient. It will take much longer, mobilize his unit much longer. At one point, he will need to heal, wait. So time is of the essence. On the other hand, Fluffy has cleared this spot. He's moving toward the last one. The first axeman is out for Kush. I have no doubt that he will be done with these Scythians quite soon. And after that, when he directs everything to the front line, there will be no backline issues. Everything will have been cleared. Minor opinion issues from the landowners. Landowners are like that. They are unpleasant, and he just inherited the throne with a bitter tactics student that is mourning. So that was most unfortunate. His first leader. Well, okay, died at 54, so not entirely unexpected. But the sword of the god was buried with them, so that's certainly a bit different. His young king will be on the throne effectively in 6 years, so that's going to take a little bit more time. But he's still dealing quite efficiently with the Scythians. What did he reach? The Pioneer. So that's not a great cognomen, but it's decent. And we'll see what he does with his tactics student. So clearly, from the start, from 2 years ago, he was already decided to make a solid general out of it. Few feelings are worse than getting your order shrines plundered. Yeah, not the best, but yeah, then deal with your rebels or and the tribes around you, especially as Assyria. You can afford to do that. You get orders and kills. You have steadfast units from the beginning. Yeah, you have every tool you can wish for. 2 military families, steadfast units to deal with those tribes. And yeah, it's a pain. Where is his Earth Axeman? Did he lose an Axeman? Unit lost. I believe this is an Axeman. Not ideal. Alright, so a bit of a misplay or misjudging, maybe, the importance of dealing with your tribes. So he wasn't as well tooled up without the ability to make urban tiles and extend easily to be able to cross rather than go around. But he has enough units to go around if he needs to, and he's persisting in using a single unit to try to deal with that spot. Another one was diverted toward the back line. He's never settled this spot. And yeah, he's strained already. +9. He's going for the free ballista. All right. So a very direct rush. Yeah, but I don't really like his backline. We'll see. Maybe he can make it work. He's no a judge, so full reversal of archetype, going from a schema to a judge. A slothful one, though, that doesn't really help with military protection, even if this time he doesn't have negative courage anymore. Fluffy settled, yes, another landowner spot in here, and he is indeed extending his territory from his capital toward the center. The next urban tile will not quite collapse his borders fully, but will make good progress in that direction. Yes, it will, because it will grab the horses, and then the borders will collapse, well, more or less all around. So he will have an avenue for quick reinforcement, and get his logistics online to get forward. So that's really an opportunity to identify on such a map. If you have a long bay like that, it's an opportunity to get super quick movement from Meroe up to Canada. And Assyria has the advantage of the double military protection, the champion seat, the straight rush to steel, and no composite bow. But with an economy that cannot afford them to get spears, his ballista will be quite capable of clearing those tribes, but it will be delayed a bit more. And yeah, this axe will be almost ready to to take the camp, but it will spawn another unit. They will get harassed some more. They will have to move back and heal. So this is very slow. Yeah, 1043 stone cutting. Yeah, I believe some players are very reluctant to make slingers um, because they cost stone, and in their mind stone is for urban improvement, and that's a mistake. And specifically if you're playing Assyria, you start with slingers. So sure, you can get iron working quickly, but stone cutting also opens the stone boost, right? Which is additional stone to make use of your barracks that you start with. So maybe a bit of a misplay there. And indeed, we see the switcheroo with the Earth Axeman moving back, and the other one getting forward to deal with the menace. But you need to assign more resources. You don't need everything here to address what Fluffy is doing. You're getting the sentinel advantage in your territories. He's a champion city. It can hold with one or even two fewer axemen, so long as you're working on connecting your cities. This is lacking in Assyria's territory at the moment to enable quick reinforcement, and is losing a lot of stone as well, a lot of iron as well, because everything got pillaged and it's slow to repair. So he has no two workers on the job, but it's still a bit slow. So Fluffy's Kush on their side have dealt with their tribes. Still 10 orders, working on their improvements. The capital has seen an earthquake. Oh, we see the rare submarine earthquake and the rift they open in the continental shelf. Barracks, and the garrison going toward the front by Rim, correctly identifying that this sea can be dominated by one ship, maybe two ships. He's got navigation, his opponent doesn't. He has adopted serfdom, of course, so his other economy is looking much better, even with multiple workers progressing on their tasks. He's opting to put the garrison forward in Meroe. He's about to get composite bow, and the time it will take for the ballista to be dealt with the barbarian and to reach the front, even if Kush went for composite bow later and with an inferior science rate, the ballistas will be where they matter at comparable time. So, all right. So this is the death of the skimmer. It's important to note that Kush went much forward with a science projection. So we can have a look at that. There's a few apprentice urban specialists. We have some more specialists in the form of a miner and an acolyte. Is quite possibly getting the Austrianism. You don't necessarily have to rush for it. Remember, your opponent will have to get the tech, to get the acolytes, to make the shrine, to get the acolytes also. So they probably won't be that quick. And if they are going straight for steel and trying to intimidate you for axes, well, if they're doing that, they're not doing something else. So in multiplayer and in duels specifically, there is a lower level of competition. So what's important is to get it first, not to get it. If you get it one turn before your opponent, it's even better than if you get it 15 turns before your opponent. Then they will have invested in acolytes and shrine that maybe they are not that interested in, or maybe they would have placed with making better use of their absence of requirement for placement. So yeah, the sense of timing of Fluffy is hard to overstate, and we're seeing it at work. He has his first acolyte, second one in 4 turns. He has a pretty decent shot at Zoroastrianism. And in fact, his opponent, well, is a judge, so could rush acolytes, but they've been going ranges. Nothing. Just repairing their improvement. So there's a pair of officers, but there's no acolyte done. He has to compensate and make settlers now because he's been lagging on 4 cities to 7 for some time, despite grabbing the center. He's still at peace with the Scythians and possibly afraid to redeclare because of the raids he's just been subjected to. So we'll see what he decides to do. But once again, we see the one axeman job, which is slow, inefficient. So he will get there eventually, but it's taking a long time. Fluffy is done already. Not done with this side, done with the entire peninsula. The 2 Scythian camps, the barbarian, everything. It's all done, cleared, settled. So now he's free to focus on anything else he wants to do. And indeed, the full coastal movement practically up to Canada. The river is helping bridge what remains. So this slinger is to the center of the map, freshly produced directly. So very solid advantage there. And he might be able to get some of that as well in the south to help. We'll see. Second, Hunter City down south, even without Hunter resources, having some military production in the back, balancing his cities for easier management. Yes, it's not crucial to balance your cities, but it still makes things slightly easier. His artisan opinions are horrible. Oh, that's the other side of the skimmer versus judge standoff. And a few events have been piled up as well. Yeah, we'll see how he deals with that. He should be able to get his hands on gems relatively easily because he's a landowner city. It can get the gem miner quickly. The city will still have a citizen afterward. So, despite the focus on barracks and military protection, I assume he will get his hands on gems and be able to improve his relations with artisans quite quickly. Landowners, of course, are a pain to placate. Both of their favorite resources are land consolidation resources. On the right, Fluffy can click on the ballista and does. Yeah, so we'll see how quickly that becomes relevant. Is he considering a wonder by perchance? No, surely not. Alright, he has a couple of axes, which is not as many as his opponent, but that's still good deterrent. They're standing on your tile, will be a bit harder to kill. And they're gaining XP. And it's interesting to see that Fluffy, with 2 units in his frontline city, is standing forward in front of his city, whereas Assyria, with double the number of axemen, an additional slinger, and a militia, is standing behind his city. But Fluffy is done with his backline, so I assume he'll work on his economy and bring his units forward. We have no improvement here. I assume this worker simply wasn't available. Not sure what they are doing at the moment. Stone boost about to complete. Oh, this time he has 3 axemen moving south, so that will be a lot better, a lot more efficient to clear whatever he wants to clear. The ballista has moved forward, healed. I assume it needed a heal or 2. Well, a heal probably. They are terribly efficient against infantry. After clearing out the raiders at Nineveh, but it's still a ways away from the center of the map. Kush, on the other hand, doesn't even have its ballista yet, but they already have a pair of archers. In the center, 2 lows against none adopted. Going for a stonecutter in Dakar. Oh, to gain access to the ore. Sure, makes sense. Will help the border expansion as well. I assume we are going to see the ore miner for the fish to extend the territory, and after that biremes. He has a bireme in the center, has expanded his territory while he was a worker with an additional human tile. So sure, and pay attention to what was done here. This barracks, this human tile, I think there are players who would consider them as a wasted opportunity for quarries, but you get better opportunity for quarries with the marble. You can get a worthy specialist there that would help secure the midpoint, open additional spot for quarries. And it's very important that you get all the naval movement you can from especially while you have a builder on the throne. So the builder is dead, but things are still working. And alright, he opted for a judge. I mentioned that, but without much detail. And we have a short break at the request of our players. Kitten, you promised to harshly judge Fluffy instead of hearing praise for his timing and choices. Yeah, I'm afraid he's playing well. He's improved. What can I say? I'm sure he trained. Maybe he received some coaching. But yeah, this is good judgment. What can I say? All right. Okay. I think if you're going to burn a rural specialist on gaining access to this ore, you should have went for the mine first. Because if you had gone from the mine first and then the miner, you get additional training, which is a synergy with the ore miner you hope to get, and you would get 2 more tiles along the way, and as you are getting the coastal tiles here, you would get these tiles anyway. So it would have been a bit tighter to first get the mine, later the quarry. You're not as tense on stone than iron, and improve that. So there's some margin for improvement everywhere, and yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that that our very own Fluffy is showing such a blatant disregard for very clear and obvious optimizations he could bring to his game. I hope we'll see better in the future. I worry about the reputational damage done to Mohawk games with such showing. And I hope the way I'm adapting my tone will satisfy some of your worries, my good Solver. Welcome to the stream. A gem mine, indeed, in Londoner City. Yeah, I would like to see a miner, as I was mentioning, on there. just to get one of the favorite resources of the artisans to placate their opinion, and I would get both of them actually. One for their capital city. They have two city today. The second one was founded. Okay, is in the south. Pushing culture in your artisan city is definitely a decent option. Let's look at the wonders. So indeed, Fluffy got to found Zoroastrianism, so that's some additional civics in his artisan headquarter, which is of course quite valuable, and the culture as well. Scout positioning. So all right, he's just checking around. He went back. I don't know where the second scout is. So the second scout was pushed forward to keep an eye on the backyard of his opponent. They are both judges, interestingly, and the frugal, prosperous, pious judge, and slothful for Becked, and we have just a fierce, bitter judge for Fluffy. Assyria's leader is slightly older. We'll see if that does anything. Okay, yes, he's a settler around, but no really easy way to get to the center. The ballista is still getting to where it needs to be. I'm very pleased, however, to see 3 axemen now dealing with those barbarians. That will be a lot more efficient, even if they're slightly hurt or whatever. You need a small group of units, very well promoted units. I must commend Becked on that. Steadfast, of course, is granted by default. 3 focus besieger is a fearsome assault axeman for sure. He's getting pearls. Let's have a check on his opinions. So his Studia family is very happy, but his patrons and Sargonids not so much, and champions, sorry, not so much. We'll see if he does anything with that. Getting more pearls. I would rate growth first, but clearing a camp with 3 units with no leader is still below the minimum force I like to send. Yeah, but I mean it's 3 strength 5 units, but it's already much better, accounting for the 3 units being steadfast as well, than sending a single one. A single one is not enough. You can try to do with that for your first camp, your first few camps, maybe if you are a tactician or something. But once we are on turn 48, that doesn't work, of course. You might kill a few units, be able to save it, but yeah, all 3 are champions. So I'm always playing with family colors on, even in MP, but they are champions, so they are efficient at what they are doing at least. Let's check the force comparison. So from Assyrian perspective, Fluffy shows us stronger, and indeed this is a worrying development. We are seeing 5, 6 archers, several slingers still to be upgraded, a ballista, a pair of axes. So there's a lot to be said here about timing. There was a very clear rush towards steel, as Assyria's rush to steel is unbeatable. But if you're going to do something, I like the undertone of passive aggression every time you ask for a change of turn style. But if you're going to go all out for steel and settle super forward, 3 family cities in a row, push for that, then go all out for composite bow, then don't pick an ultra wide map. You didn't have to do that. And then use it, move forward as soon as you can. The timing window is called the window for a reason, because it closes. This advantage will not remain by itself. And here we are seeing that despite a consistent research advantage from Assyria early on, after until the leaders died, despite Fluffy picking intelligent as trait as well. An advantage in military score that's been going for some time, and starting with military drill from the start, so right away from steel. When the time comes, his opponent is ahead. So if you're going to go very quickly forward and rush for your opponent, first do yourself a favor, pick a short map, and you cannot. All right, so I understand you're facing Fluffy. Fluffy is scary, and you got rushed in your previous map, so it's perfectly understandable. I don't want to blame, but this is paranoia. If you're going to position defensively, and then you don't want to put all your eggs in the same basket in the military rush. Maybe don't found your champion seat second. If you're going to found champion in the center right after, uh, yeah, I'm not sure. There's rushing military just to defend because you're afraid of being attacked is dangerous, I would say. And a big part of Kush strength is ranch units. So you ideally want to be positioned in the forest and forward so that you can see your opponent quickly and you can attack them in the forest if necessary. Fluffy got 2 axes eventually, but you had a 10-turn advantage. If you're going to be delayed, however, the window closes. There are axes on both sides. The the, the ballista, which was produced like 7 turns later, is similarly positioned on both sides. It's a bit forward here, but it was so slow going there. Uh, no naval movement, no. Was another axeman lost here? Yes. All right, so there should be more. And if I may, ballistas are very strong, but they are very strong against infantry. They're not very strong against mounted units, and especially not melee mounted units, who typically have a bonus against siege. But that's a property of... Yes, they do. As mounted melee, they have additional strength against siege. So ballistas are still very strong. They are still strength 4 for this elite nomad marauder. Uh, but, but yeah, you wanted to deal with that earlier, is what I'm saying. All right, let's go back to Fluffy. So okay, he's riding toward his river. He hasn't rode it behind to accelerate the movement of his ballista. Of course, siege units get double benefit from roads, so roads are better for them than rivers. Here he's using, well, or he's planning to use a river, but a road would be even better. I don't know if he's going toward siege units, but he has 2 archers in protection, 2 axemen in protection, and already a pretty strong army. You can see he's riding toward his opponent. So another important thing to note is going to complete the wrong stonecutter next turn, as was touching about a moment ago. More barracks, a little bit of mine, and yeah, let's look at economy a little bit. So yeah, despite the very strong investment in iron in the beginning of the game, the iron production of Assyria uh, is lower, is weaker than the one from Kush. Let's check actually directly in the graphs. So yeah, of course that was the big pillage, the big raids that damaged his capital. But today he's struggling a bit for iron. no matter if he had an advantage. Fluffy has had a huge advantage in food production for a long time because he simply upgraded his game. If you're going to pick hunters for your capital because there are 4 games around, make sure you gain access to Force 1, which was out of their territory early on, and do improve the game. These are strong tiles. The food can be sold if necessary. It will help you produce settler. The growth is awesome to make workers and settlers. On the Fluffy side, you might say potentially he had a builder leader, so workers were super cheap. But so he's only accelerating settlers and scouts and disciple settlers primarily for the early game. But in Assyria, you had the same opportunity and you went for iron production. So okay, you want to make axes, I get that, but just buy the iron for your first early axes if necessary, and instead of upgrading your warriors, paying twice for them, once for the warrior, one for the axemen, get extra axemen. It's a bit cheaper, and it's more frightening for your opponent because when you get uh, when you take your warrior and upgrade it to an axeman, you gain 1 power, 1 strength. It's a 5 strength unit against a 4 strength unit. If you have a warrior and you get an axeman on top, you gain 5 strength. So that's quite important. And you will be able to upgrade your warriors later. And maybe at that point, you will have an opportunity to do something else. You will see chariots, and you will want the opportunity to upgrade them to spears instead. Or maybe even you'll get up to macemen. So important things uh, to check with that. If you're going to upgrade en masse as you reach attack, it's because you're about to pull the trigger, you want to attack. Here, these guys are not quite screwed yet, but I'm willing to bet that he's going to lose some. Well, maybe he's going to force march, but force marching up to the unit is maybe not the best shot. Once again, as for Fluffy, I would have preferred settling here, just to get the wall volcano in territory and facilitate moving around with naval movement later on. Okay, this game I will be dead. We'll have to see. All right, moving forward again with this ballista here. Okay, Fluffy is dealing with rebels, so he hasn't dealt very efficiently with his opinion issues. He's got the gem mine, but not the miner. No gem mine here. The border boost is looking amazing. And he's making his resourceless rural specialist even more useless. I suppose maybe he wanted to just spend the citizen. He's giving it consideration, but in this context, where it gets you so much of the way toward collapsing your borders together, gets you an advantage toward your enemy, additional resources, grabbing. Yeah, so we thought he's grabbing this marble tile, for instance. Even if he never improves the marble, which his opponent might let him get away with. To be clear, if you position 2 units there, it's not that easy to attack into. He could maybe be able to do it. And his opponent might be gun shy as well and not dare move forward. But just getting a tile owned here gives him permanent vision on Tushpa. And that's super valuable in itself. So that's value out of territory that is sometimes undervalued or underappreciated, I believe, by some of our players. And look at him. He's moving his worker forward. Yeah, I can road. I can try. Either you have to stop me, send enough units. He probably needs at least 2 to kill the worker that will be vulnerable to counterattack. And in fact, his opponent has been positioned here with a stronger group for a time, a weaker one now than his opponent, but isn't calling the bluff there. Oh, okay. So we are seeing some move forward from Fluffy. 3 others left. Assigning generals. This guy. Sorry. Hi Sibung, welcome back to the stream. I'm sorry I didn't answer to anyone. Graph in Kush versus Assyria game, I'm really not friendly to my poor color perception. Yeah, I'm afraid. Um, Skimmer is probably the only leader archetype that can exploit such an early timing. Maybe, maybe. I would favor tactician rush myself with everything hidden in the forest, but OP analyst. I know this is not a question for this. I love your game. Thank you. But the UI is so big. Have you guys planned to have a slider to make the? We have more than plans. We have such a slider. You can get into accessibility, I believe, and you can affect the scaling of the pop-ups, of the tooltips, of the HUD. So there are some options, and you can mod in extra sizes if this is not precise enough for you. You can override the scaling limit to go beyond. So there are options to do that. Maybe you've experimented with it and that's not enough, but you can even go beyond these settings if you wish with the override scaling limits, and this can be modded further if you want to push back the minimums and maximums. The order difference is really scary for Becked. 9 order versus 24, that's too far behind. It is far behind. So to be fair, he's using his workers a bit more diligently than Fluffy. Fluffy will very much prioritize his scouting and his military over his workers if he deems it necessary. He's assigned his leader. It's a judge, but no matter. It's still his leader. It will gain him legitimacy. Yeah, he's getting ready for war. And despite having been for a long time the strongest player in the multiplayer scene of all the world, I would say, on average, if not conclusively, is not if not winning every games. One important thing to note is not do not half-ass your wars. So he's moving everything forward. He's ready for everything. He has a Byrim in the sea that matters, and he's not shy about getting axemen and military units everywhere. Even if that city is maybe not military or maybe hasn't been done with everything, and you see the result. That's many units, even if some of them were slow built or what. He's daring his opponent to move forward, but every turn that Beck doesn't respond, that's a turn where Fluffy will have saved some orders from previous turns to move forward, to get a road, to facilitate his movement, be ready to move on. So very important the daring game of moving toward your opponent, and well, if they don't react, you're getting away with it. So, alright, in Assyria, we are still seeing some movement forward. I'm afraid there's no labor force yet. So no roads, no option to make roads to connect his forward cities. So he's losing on growth, he's losing on logistics. Even if you produce military units everywhere, they will need a lot of time to get here. Um, he's still not dealt with his peninsula, so Scythians have been harassing him for some time, and this is very much painful to watch. Um, yeah, uh, yeah. I'm not sure if Becked identified and was just stopped in his track the possibility to urbanize along the coast until here, gain this tile and be able to cross directly. That would have been a sizable shortcut. It would have been slower than for Fluffy, who could buy urban tiles, but it could have been done in time. And getting the ore, stealing the ore from this site with the capital is not really bad. It will still get you additional training in a military city, and that's perfectly fine. Um, yeah, the barley should be improved. Let me look for mistakes in Fluffy's play. Yeah, I would like to see the minor. It would be the 20 opinion from the luxuries and 20 additional opinion from not having a missing luxury. So that would solve his opinion issues at the moment, but he hasn't done that, and that is quite sad. I have to admit. Um, his money situation is not as great, so he's put himself on a timer a little bit with the amount of military units he's gone for. He's on vassalage, so he has made the switch from centralization to vassalage just to be able to afford his army. This is a considerable pack of units. Zoroastrianism has been adopted by the Irchet, which is critical and made the bulk of the work toward bringing them back to positive now officially this turn. So very good. You could appoint a councillor to decide them fully. Um, well, maybe not from their family because it's not so great an ambassador, but that's a solid ambassador. All of his families have a religion, so this is actually in disguise plus 50 family opinion. And a bit better than that for the landowners, of course, because this character is from their family. So I hope he'll do that. It's not like I don't believe he's going to assign them as a diplomat, as a governor in a city. The commander giving the shape of the situation is probably better kept as a general, possibly. And yeah, in the end, he hasn't improved his ore, he hasn't improved his net, because his orders are focused on military. So violent priorities once again. Let's see how everyone positions. And yeah, Assyria has done all their moves already. They've pushed their ballista forward. So that will be a strong deterrent against melee attacks at any rate. You will want, if the ballista comes to bear, that it has to stand outside of the city. But getting to move forward slowly, slightly, so that you can spend orders on many turns to get in range of your opponent. Concentrating your forces, just blinking the city, adding a bit of discontent, adding a bit of damage, damaging slowly the unit on top. And the signs are good. Becked is fortifying his units behind the line, so he's not making very strong plans to move forward. Psychologically, it's also sometimes a bit easy to get trapped in the idea that now that your unit is fortified, you shouldn't move it because you're going to lose the fortification. So he's posturing very defensively, and yeah, this is not looking good for Becked. I think it's fair to say Fluffy hasn't moved in yet. He's just um, intimidated him, I would say, but quite successfully it looks like, and Beckett by a very quick, super aggressive play early on, but without real backup and without dedicated enough forces in time to clear his back line, has dug himself into a hole, I would say. This is very hard now to divert any forces to deal with the Scythians, and it's actually more the Scythians that are dealing with him at the moment, and yeah, that's painful, no doubt. Rebels are starting to sprout. His champion family is angry. So that's a very bad sign. That's minus 10% for all his champion units. Let me find that, unless I'm blind. Oh, angry family. That's the dagger. Sorry. Minus 10% indeed. So he's moving back with the militia, but they are on the wrong side of the river. Um, yeah, a bit of Yeah, right. So it's hard to stay tactical in this context, but we are there. The enact 4 laws. Well, that's not going to happen, isn't it? Yeah. So that's unfortunate. Getting this amount of civics but no laws is not ideal. So where did he go? So police, I assume to redraw at one point. Yeah, he's going all out for composite bow. So yeah, it's hard to get the rest online now. As Fluffy could spend on adopting his state religion. His opinions are much better now, so he's getting a plus 10% for all his families that are all pleased, opposed to the minus 10% on the other side. He's quite content to just blink the city, champion city as it is, daring his opponent to send his ballista forward to do something about it. And of course, when he moves in, it's when he will be sure to clear the city in one go. So he's quite content to provoke his opponent. Yeah, he sees that Becked is weaker. Let's check the graphs a little bit. So Beckett, of course, with very late stone cutting, has produced barely any stone. Iron production is also advantageous for Kush, more cities. Um, Food has been a massive advantage for Kush. No, not so much. Unfortunately, that's mostly upkeep that is making the difference. So that's a sign of the stronger military. Um, Money has been crossing over. The builder had a definite advantage with discipline early on. Today, not so much. Science. Well, I dare say the area beyond between the curves is a bit about as big or comparable here and there. So Fluffy has probably caught up. Culture, Kush, strong advantage. Training, Kush, strong advantage. Civics are neck and neck, and growth, of course, the advantage is mostly mapping with the number of cities. So that's what we are seeing there. In terms of technologies discovered, yeah, they are at the same point, more or less, 11 to 10. Let me look at the situation. So yes, raiders are still being pesky here. Of course, Kush will remain at the back, happy to blink the city and harass, let force his opponent to endure his raiders. While they get prepared to move forward. I'm pretty sure Fluffy would give a lot for a tactician leader at the moment to be able to hide his archers. He has 3 laws now. Monasticism will give him a 4th. And of course the possibility to adopt polytheism. Oh my god, I really should have taken care of the Scythians earlier. Yes, you should have. Um, yeah, losing a city, yeah, that was a risk. Fluffy is keeping is keeping his eyes on the situation, so yes, that's the primary use of your scout, is keeping an eye on your opponent's army. Not on their city, not on anything else. Primary job is keeping an eye on their army, where their units are, then anything else. But that's the priority. All right, Dakar, the painful non-border movement around mountains and volcano. Well, you could theoretically buy those tiles if you really want them. But yeah, look at that reinforcement line. It's 2 turn from his capital to the front line. 13, 11, 9. I think that's a city. So Meroe to get to Canada is 2 turns. For Fluffy, uh, it's much longer in Assyria. Let's look at this settler, slightly more forward than the military spot. So that would be 1 turn, 2 turns, probably 5 at this point. So your logistics is the most important thing, and especially especially naval movement, is stronger than anything. You, of course, from funding your capital and finding out about this bay, exploring along it, you see it as a rift that complicates your expansion south. But you should also see it as a potential highway to move forward, and almost an highway moving south as well as soon as you can join the border. So if the distance between the two shores were two tiles or wider everywhere without net resources to be improved, it would be harder to cross. But here there are uh, narrower spots where just one additional urban improvement here would create a bridge between those two parts of the landmass and would have facilitated his operations from very much earlier day. So there we go. He's giving it on Tushpa, which was well barely improved. Only the nets. He didn't dare go for the wheat in this city. He's facing rebels, so actually he's going to gain 120 happiness with his champion family. From there, we can see 200 discontent. So each discontent level in a city is shown here. It's not, but that is worth discontent for your family. So that 200 discontent here is coming from 120 from Tushpa, 20 per discontent level. So at 6 discontent level, 120 discontent, and 80 from Quetna with 4 discontent level. So that's going to improve his opinions with his Sargonids, actually. But of course, losing cities to your opponent is not a good sign, no matter what else it is. So I expect Fluffy will be happy to stay behind, risk a single unit on the city capture, and be fully ready to punish any counterattack with his ballista, with his army of archers. I'm seeing. Let me check. We are seeing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 archers. So that's a lot. The ballista is just a nail in the coffin, but there is a coffin without it. And what else do we see in terms of melee units? We have, I believe these guys are axemen. Yes, they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 axemen as well. So 9 axes, 13 archers, I forgot already, and the ballista, and maybe other stuff as well. I don't know if there are still slingers somewhere. Not really. With a big highway going to the center, having captured a city from their opponent, so this looks decided already. We'll see how that how the game moves forward. Sitting behind the city with all melee, I mean, I get the idea. You don't need to use units as well, but no range kind of antical. Yeah. Level 3 axe die to Skisian. Yeah, he's been taking a lot of damage. Um, yeah, he's consistently retreated too late and sent not enough forces early on. Especially early on, he had a strength advantage against Fluffy, which was maybe hard to identify for him. He wasn't rated as obviously stronger in the chart, um, but he knew he had to be first as Axeman. But he kept a group of 3, 4 Axemen here from very early on that could have done awesome work in his backline and helped him considerably. Um, I To be fair, it's hard, especially as a newer player on the scene, to be facing even the reputation of Fluffy without Fluffy being that strong. just a reputation. You will feel forced to make more military units, to do a lot of things, and it's hard to estimate when you are somewhat safe and when you are not. So that's hard. Uh, yeah, yes, I know we have the new estimation, but I should use it. So indeed, at this point, we are at 1587 research points accumulated, spent by Fluffy, produced and spent, and 1452 for Becked. So a small difference in the grand scheme of things, the equivalent of a T1 tech, more or less. Uh, but, but the point is that the early advantage is an early advantage. It's not going to last. So it depends if you can use it to build more and to use the advantage you got when you have it. And yes, the wildfire is yes, adding insult to injury. He hasn't lost the bulk of his army yet, so where do we stand with unit lost at the moment? Well, 4-0 is painful already, but it's not yet 13-2 or something like that, so he might still be able to mount another defense at Quatna. He still has his ballista. No ranged unit is really painful though. And yeah, you want ranged units, even slingers, even anything. You can see how Fluffy could concentrate all his damage on the city uh, without even having to get in range of the enemy ballista or forcing it to expose if you wanted to do anything about that. That's very important, very valuable. And yeah, no mercy. That's my bunny. Yes. And sorry, I see him making the moves I'm looking at, so that's satisfying in a strange way. So that's the Fluffy school of pedagogy, which is absolutely no mercy, and we are going to see execution on that, I expect. Yes, this is all dead, of course. And you see, so he might kill the walker, but he puts priority on moving his scouts first. That's an important thing to note here. Assyria is recapturing Gaza from the Scythians. But yeah, much weaker now, which is well, very hard to climb out of. I'd say for that you need to play well, and your opponent needs to make a mistake as well. A significant one, I would say, which is not very likely. Yeah, and yeah, I can only assume that this view is a bit demoralizing as well for Becked. You can see that this is not even the full army, right? It's part of it. It's the advanced part of it. There's more behind the scene, including a significant amount of melee. The wildfire has cut all the forest and given advantage to ranged, compounding the issue. So yes, very painful. Yeah, you can essentially well clench everything, grit, and hold on for a little bit longer. But I think this game is going toward its conclusion at the moment. Losing 5 units in a turn is very tough, no doubt. Yeah, you're welcome. But Sibang for the stream. we'll see how it concludes. I'd be interested to, at the very least, I will ask if the players are interested to have a post-game chat, and uh, I assume they would provide some of their impressions and perceptions following this game. But yeah, interesting map, no doubt. This setup is a bit particular. This is very particular. I've not seen that very recently, but that's I assume a consequence of ultra wide in particular, or the kind of things it can produce. A good number of rivers. Let me check Discord in case our players are discussing. Not yet. So the forests here aligned allow Fluffy to move forward without like getting insta-gipped by the ballista despite being infantry, and of course even if he can take damage, the ballista would have to come out, and I would say Fluffy is right to be confident that he could deal with it. How many orders left? None. Well, oh, well, that feels bad. Just 2 turns too early. He hasn't captured the city yet, so he cannot pick warlike. Well, it feels bad. He's just missing out on something great. And yeah, another thing to note is that we are seeing a very strong archer rush, powered by no lumber mill whatsoever. So vassalage is handling the upkeep for Fluffy by removing most of it, or the wall penalty for being outside of territory, and half the upkeep in all cases. And chopping is quite powerful, and buying is quite powerful. Um, all right, I was supposed to roast my friend and colleague, but I think it's admirable. He went to a very high amount of money, high amount of bank. Let me check. Can we see the bank? Yes, we can see it. So up to 3,000, 4,000, then much lower production after the death of his original builder. And both players had accumulated a very large, well, had produced a lot of money. When did his tech complete for composite bow? Composite bow on turn 44. And yeah, from turn 44 he bought all his, so that's not his bank, sorry, that's just the total money produced, so not quite the same. But I assume he bought vast quantities of wood. We should be able to see that in the wood resource prices. Yeah, so suddenly the price of wood increases massively as he's spending a lot on upgrading archers, and the price of food is decreasing. And I would bet that this is mostly Fluffy selling food to pay for his archer upgrades. But yeah, additional units are dying. The city is getting blinked. Some measure of intimidation. So here Fluffy could push forward and keep killing units, or take the time to regroup with units from his backline. I assume he's going to keep moving forward and killing as many units as he can. Yes, indeed. So that's, well, sensing a game about to conclude. Once again, where the important thing is that pull out all the teeth of your opponents. And the important thing is to convince your opponent that the game is done. And there's no more convincing way to do that than to kill everything. A single ballista in a city is meaningless, and everyone knows it. Uh, so this is going to be the point. And he's going straight for the units, not even caring about the city. Not it's bad to hit it a bit, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is to kill units and to deter counter-aggression, and maybe he'll move forward some of his backline, but yeah, I'm not even sure about that. Ideally, he'd want a walker and to push his road forward. Maybe he'll do that. This is neutral territory now, so he should be able to get a road. He wasn't before when his walker got here because it was still enemy territory at that point. But accelerating the next movements if it becomes necessary. So he's still producing archers, axemen, axeman, archer everywhere. And yeah, he killed the walker to end his turn. Assyria has to decide how to answer, if they can answer, of course. Yeah, that's total money produced. Yeah, I realized as I was saying it, so... but I assume Fluffy consumed whatever money he had banked, mostly to pay for upgrades, and I think the wood price curve hints at something along those lines. Although, of course, there was also chopping and resource selling to pay for more, with food in particular. Yeah, he has low bank, but that's efficiency. If you end the game with a lot of resources, it means you've produced too much. You spent too much on getting resources and economy online. So of course it's an art getting that timing correct and right, but it's important to think about it that way. So yes, we are seeing 13 victory points to 6, 8 cities to 4. Kush is showing as much stronger than Assyria, and conversely, Assyria is showing as much weaker and naive compared to Kush. He's lost his ballista, but he's killed 3 units in exchange, including the ballista that had to be sacrificed to do that. Yep. Right, giving the city to his hunters. Where are these 2 orders coming from? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe an event. More archers in the back. So I think this is confirmation that strict was picked. Oh, an eloquent, intelligent judge. This is a disgusting governor. An economic one, but still a very strong one. Does Assyria have any military left? Yes, Assyria more or less always have military unit left, but not many of them. So we can see 1 axeman that's going to defend the city. There's also a pair of archers and a militia in Nineveh, which are dealing with more raiders at the moment and are very far in practical terms from the front line. So there's also an archer in Arpad. But that's not going to do much. Alright, so he's moving in. A valiant defense at any rate. Throwing everything at his opponent. Trying to deal with his raiders as well. Alright, got the kill, got the orders. Yeah, yeah, it's a bit hard to find fault in Fluffy's play. If anything, Beck might have been able to put more pressure earlier on Fluffy with his initial wave of Axemen, but it was so early that almost too early. I'm not sure if he could have like taken the city, that would have been a definite advantage, but it wasn't easy to do at that point. There was still some army on Fluffy's side that was positioned forward, so the window that was offered there was very short at best. Uh, so hard to pull the trigger, hard to identify. Uh, it's it's difficult not to be reluctant to spend your orders on war, to ignore your workers at such an early stage, but that would have been needed, yeah. Uh, hmm. Yeah, strong play, but if you have this strong military early on, deal with your backline, don't just ignore it. If you're making a straight beeline, it means you want to gain a very definite advantage on your opponent before turn 30, before raids start. Once they start, this will be a pain, as we saw in this game. All right, so it's unlikely the city falls this turn, but I'm not sure. Up, sorry. It's just hurting the city and inflicting some more damage. A few more orders. I expect more archers to come forward. Get the road, maybe. Yeah, or even chop and get the road. Sorry, apparently I'm having hotkey issues. Yeah. Yeah, you don't need my commentary to know that this looks bad, right? It's you're not coming back from that. So he's hurrying archers now, so he spent his civics hurrying units, but too little too late. So we have 3 archers in the back, so no, he's spending his money to buy wood and get the archers, rushing them out. But yeah, it's there's no coming back. I deeply believe, even with a lucky crit, that simply isn't enough. Or rest assured that while Becked and Assyria are playing, Fluffy is already calculating his next movements, how much damage he can inflict, what he needs to take the city, what he needs to get rid of the unit, and all that. Use your opponent time to work out such things. Some of it will become obsolete depending on their movements, although here we are really at the tail end of the game and Assyria's forces are already gassed. But getting a pretty solid economy going and also solid early military build-up, even if the army fell quickly to Kush. Yes, yes, it has to be commended. The straight beeline for steel, then composite bow, then the ballista. All right, but you need to identify that if you're going for that, you want to use it as early as you get it. That's the whole point of the timing. If you're going to get that, then wait. Probably you want to compromise a little bit more on efficiency, using some of your forces to clear additional camps. Um, Assyria is exceptionally efficient at clearing camps because they get orders and kills. Uh, and you can have champions early to clear camps very quickly with a steadfast trait. You're a skimmer, so you're going to want to be at war with the Scythian. Here there was only a single tribe, so maybe not as massive. You can have very early order injection, so if you're going for this power push, either you clear everything as soon as you can after getting after planting your flag in the middle of the map, or you go straight for your opponent. But going straight for the center of the map, getting there first, investing to massively in your military, because you have to acknowledge that making 5 warriors and upgrading them to Axeman immediately is inefficient. You're spending the training twice, you're spending the metal twice. So if you're going to be that inefficient, it's because you want to be that much earlier in your timing. Then if you're not using your timing, when you get it, then it's a waste. So then you should maybe produce Axeman naturally from your champion site instead of upgrading your warriors. And in the meantime, using your warriors to clear camp or to do something else. But if you pile everything on the timing, it's because the timing is important. You want to do something with it, or it's wasted. Essentially, all the little inefficiencies you accept to get this power spike, you are paying for that with compromises, with other things you're not doing. So so if it doesn't pay out, then it's a waste. So it's great to see those timing plays. That's very important to a strong understanding of the game. Uh, uh, but if you want it to work as well as it can, you need to commit upon it. And granted, the Fluffy is not the easier player to do that against. All right, and we have a GG. So I'm going to mute a second and get in touch with our players on Discord to see if they want to have a post-game chat. All right, we should be in chat shortly. Let me send a call. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Welcome, welcome. All right, that was quite a game. So I'm sorry, Beck, that you had to face the Fluffster. Uh, yeah, interesting game. I thought a very good, very solid execution on the steel, then composite bow, rush toward the center of the map, all out aggression. Uh, you didn't quite follow through though. So what was that intimidation because of who you're playing, or what went through your mind there, if I may ask?
Like after I took the center city and I had a little
Yes.
bit of strength on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that, and I probably should have gone ahead with the game plan of just being aggressive, trying to play like Fluffy.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I got concerned about the Scythians. They kept raiding me, and I thought I might have
Yeah.
time to go back and take care of them. Uh, in retrospect, certainly either going forward after taking that center city, or just not take it to center city and take care of the Scythians, because that was a huge problem throughout the game for me.
Yeah, I think part of it is that you opted for an ultra-wide continent, which Fluffy fully expected, that people would pick large maps against him to minimize the chance of getting rushed. But then you opted for the earliest rush in the game, with Assyria starting with Mill Drill, going all out with science with your starting leader, still on composite board. No one can get there faster than Assyria with such a leader. So you sort of picked against yourself with that because you gave more of an opportunity for Fluffy to catch up, or at least that's how I perceived it on stream. So uh,
It was definitely scary seeing that Center City being settled so early in the first act, and then the second one. It's like, all right, yep, fair enough, Syria getting steel early, but yeah, it was definitely okay. Yeah, I do need to build some more military units. I had built a couple already, but yeah, I was glad not to see an advance because it might have been tricky.
yeah, but solid play. Yeah, another point. So I don't know if you realized that or saw it and didn't manage to execute in time. So of course it was much easier for Fluffy with the builder leader, but the very strange topology of the map with the volcano isolating a miniature inner sea in the north, and especially the long bay dividing the extremities of the continent in two. Uh, there was an opportunity with just one more urban improvement to bridge the gap between the two parts and facilitate your movement toward the Scythians. Of course, the raiders can always cross anyway, so uh, that would have been good. It was a bit easier for Fluffy to get just build urban tiles to get there, but this can become a highway toward the center of the map, which Fluffy identified and went for. But that you never reached that with your expansion. You went into this direction. So was that part of a plan that had to be abandoned to deal with raiders and everything, or what happened there, Beckett?
Yeah, I think I got I really should have focused on the Scythians and gone after them. I got a little distracted with that forked bay in the beginning,
Hmm.
and I started building urban down there, even though it
Yeah.
was on hills, with
Hmm.
the plan to kind of easily connect it. And uh, yeah, I saw the middle site, and I wanted to go for it.
Yeah.
And I think that was the key mistake. Or if I'm going for it, to go all in and ignore the Scythians.
Yeah, I think what you went for it, you still had two options. You could have moved forward toward Fluffy, although the window of opportunity was very short because the map
Yeah.
was still long. So he was able to catch up to Steel and then Composite Bow quite quickly. But there was a window. Otherwise, maybe sending some more of your forces to deal with the Barbarians and the Scythian. For a long time, you were trying to do that with one, then two, three units, and even with Steadfast, that's not enough. And also such a quick rush as you went for, where you have 4, 5 warriors. You started with slingers, right? You had to take ironwork first, then steel, then you upgraded your warriors, which means you
Yeah.
are paying twice for the units when you are upgrading, and the upgrade is valuable, but it's not crazy available. So you really need to get something out of it to have those axes extra early to make it valuable. Otherwise, it might be better to use your wires to clear out tribes and just produce uh, axemen. Or at least those were some of the thoughts that crossed my mind. Not that well, Fluffy beats me consistently, let's say. So it's not like I have a recipe do better.
No, yeah, that makes sense. Uh, I was just thinking upgrade, 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 and
Hmm.
not how I'm paying twice. I felt like my rural economy was pretty good.
Hmm.
Uh,
It was.
I can't seem to get back into the game. I'm not sure how to do that, but to take another look.
Yeah, I don't know how to
You
reconnect.
can load it from your completed saves folder if you want. It'll be in the Hall of Fame, or you can just load it directly from the saves multiplayer completed folder.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I was optimistic about how those axes would do against Scythians. Maybe thinking there were spears.
Yeah,
I don't know. Uh,
but
yeah, they
I
were
think
frustrating.
I think it's mostly the delay because after a time they start to have a lot of units. Even clearing the barbarian side took a long time. You had one unit initially, then you had to go back to heal in your territory, then move back out again, and yeah, it takes a long time. And I can only imagine that you were a bit scared of Fluffy because you still had a pack of 5, 6 strong units at Tushpa in the center of the map at that point. Uh, but yeah, if you're not going to move in, you need to take a bit of a risk. This was a champion site with 2 water tiles, not super easy to attack into, and divert more. It really pays to have enough units to deal with barbarians quickly, and with the Assyrian bonus of well, most of your units were steadfast, and you get orders on kills. It's a lot more efficient to move 4, 5 units if you need to, and overkill it a bit, and then you're done, and you can get everything back to the center, which is more or less what Fluffy did when he moved against his own Scythians on the other side of his bay.
It was a weird map, though, to be fair, as you were saying earlier, with the bay going backwards and it being such a long way to that starting site. So yeah, definitely the builder helped to get some quick expansion there and get the economy online, and yeah, quick upgrades. I think I built a lot of slingers. I guess Becked, you got archery a lot quicker than I did, and you just started building archers directly, whereas I ended up with quite a lot of slingers, which I then upgraded. But yeah, I spent an awful lot on wood. I guess you spent quite a lot on iron. You kind of pushed the iron prices up quite high. I was a little surprised to see that wood is not as high as iron, despite the fact I've bought so much of it. But yeah, you must have bought loads to fuel all those axes.
There was a lot of early production of iron on Beckett's side with no less than 6 mines in Nineveh. I was quite surprised that you took so long to upgrade your camps. The growth would really have helped you produce your settlers, your workers faster early on, but especially settlers. It was hard to produce those units at that point. The growth from camps with a hunter seat would have been very valuable, whereas Fluffy on your side, no content with being a builder and have quick workers. You went for the camp straight up, and the food helped fuel your economy well quite
I've just
strongly. So yeah.
I've just noticed back you didn't settle your free city site. Why? What was the thinking there? Was it just not an attractive site?
No, I like the site. I just wanted to settle the closer sites to you first,
Yep,
and then
yep,
I started
same.
getting hampered by kind of constant Scythian raids. So I had to start building some military in the capital, uh, and I guess I spent some time building a couple apprentice officers.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So it's interesting. I guess yeah, that push for the centre really hampered you. And I'd say conventional wisdom, at least I'd say conventional wisdom is push outwards as quickly as you can, grab as much territory as you can. But yeah, obviously it's can cause you problems if you then have to go back and consolidate and yeah, never end up filling in sites. It's definitely
I
yeah.
saw archers on your side not too long after I got archers, so I think that the window to attack was probably pretty small. Uh,
Yeah, and I did invest in quite heavily in military, having seen yours. So yeah, I think there was never a point where you were massively ahead in mill score. Yeah, we were kind of you had a small advantage, like turn 25 to
Yeah,
37, I guess.
just before Steel, Becked got mercenary axemen from clearing the camp in the center,
Right.
and right
Makes
after
sense.
steel, so there was a few upgrades there. But the upgrades didn't spike military power massively because you're going from a 4 strength unit to a 5 strength unit. You're not like adding a new 5 strength unit on top. So you barely dipped into weaker, I think, Fluffy, for 1 turn. But you were already pushing fingers everywhere at that point.
Yeah, I
So
was definitely weaker for I think several turns. I think
okay.
it definitely I was already building at least a military unit, but yeah, I definitely
Mhm.
upped my military unit production when I saw that.
Yeah, and the early, well, you went for the barracks, military drill and the barracks pretty quickly, still, Fluffy, and the military shrine as well in your capital. So
Yeah, so that was
it
my
was
first
able
deck,
to.
the barracks. Yeah, it was
Mhm.
definitely worth getting them up early. I think that was very useful. And getting loads of officers in, so it helped my specialists because I think Assyria did pull ahead in science for quite a while, but I did manage to catch that up.
Yeah, the skimmer was pulling the raw wisdom and the multiplier on top of intelligent. You both had intelligent leaders. Was a bit of an advantage. All right. Beck, just make sure you have checked in the multiplayer completed directory. Sometimes it's confusing if you check in your normal completed save folder.
Yeah, no, I was wrong about that. It is actually just the completed directory, but I will send you the save. That is
Oh,
not a
okay.
problem at all.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I think there may be a bug there somewhere. We've had a couple of people complain about that, which I've not been able to replicate. But yeah, it's obviously something we need to look into a bit more.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, very strange map. So was a bit hard to adapt, and I don't think it was. You didn't know, right, Fluffy, when no, when you picked your archetype before founding your first city. Obviously, you didn't know that builder would be that much better with a coastal tile buying in the center. But
I
yeah.
did not indeed. Yeah, it certainly made a very big difference being able to hop over the coast there. Made that
Hmm.
clearing that civilian camp super easy. Because I came into the more central sites first, the barbarian ones, and then yeah, came back to the civilians after, and it was just being able to clap small sides, including with the newly built units from the capital that could just get
Hmm.
there in 1 turn was made a lot of difference. And I was quite lucky with the raid timing as well. They both of the
Yep.
civilian camps raided me just as I was preparing to attack them, so I managed to deal with the raiders first, and then only had a couple of units at each site to kill, so that made it quite easy to clear them out.
Yeah, and of course that wildfire didn't. Well, I would say
Oh,
didn't
that
decide the game,
wildfire!
but
Oh my goodness
it was
me,
a
that was
yeah.
so unlucky. I mean, even if that wildfire had persisted on my turn, that was still awful for you. But the fact that you were blocked off and then it immediately cleared for me and let me just swoop in and kill everything.
Yeah, and
Ugh.
clear all the forest to make sure your archer was were
Yeah,
fully online. So yeah, salt in the wound.
yeah. I
I'm
think
afraid.
we've seen a few calamities happen during battles in the
Yeah,
tournament and in duels before, but that's got to be the most impactful calamity I've seen in a battle so far. I think.
yeah. We had a pretty crazy flood in Nizar versus Jams as well, which pushed all the defensive units from one side away from the city and out in the open.
Oh,
But
fun.
they are in competition. At least from those I've seen, these are the two most striking ones. So yeah, a bit.
Yeah, well played, Becked. Good bit of resilience. You kept on fighting even when all looked lost. So kudos to you.
Yeah,
Thank you. It was fun to play against you.
and yeah, thank you both for playing for. Allowing me to cast. I commend your courage to be playing Fluffy publicly, and yeah, I'll close the stream soon now, reach a conclusion, and thank you both for the post game chat.
I'm
And
looking good. I'm looking forward to rewatching.
I just want to say again, thank you for playing on the timer back. How did you find the medium timer? I was certainly pressured at times, but you never asked to slow it down. In fact, you seem to end your turns much faster than I did most of the time. You were playing super fast.
Yeah, I should probably think more before making moves, but I like playing fast. I like the medium timer, so
Yeah.
fits well with me.
Yeah, it was fantastic to me. I think we hit turn 49 was when we switched, and that was like an hour in. That's a very good pace. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, fantastic to see. I was amazed that Becked was quicker than you indeed on many turns, Fluffy. So
All right. Well, thanks both.
Thank you.
you're welcome. Have a great evening, night, and see you soon.
Bye.
See ya.
All right, and with that, we are going to conclude the stream. So, indeed, Snap97, welcome to the stream. And yes, Fluffy can be terrifying, and I dare say he didn't make many mistakes for me to comment on this game. So, well played to both players. There was some pretty solid execution as well on the Beckett side. We went over it, a bit of a misjudgment on the importance of clearing out the peninsula and what the raiders would do to him and how to handle that. It's very hard not to feel paralyzed when you are on the center line positioned in front of your opponent to divert troops. We saw Fluffy opt to do that pretty much immediately, not wasting any time in the center. That was a risk. That contributed to the window that was open to his opponent, but it was pretty hard to exploit, and most importantly, pretty short. He was only vulnerable for a few turns, but managed to come back from that. And of course, the logistical advantage of collapsing borders along coastlines is massive, and we saw it at play with the ballistas becoming irrelevant at about the same time, despite 8 ton delay or thereabout between the production on both sides. So there you go. And with that, I'm going to close the stream. So thank you all who joined, and see you probably over the weekend for additional streamed match, and possibly streaming next week as well. Fluffy might be back on stream next week, or if he is still playing in the tournament and we have a game to cast at that point, I might keep streaming as well. You're welcome, Andros, and see you soon.